So I finally finished to level up my Barbarian to 55, and I want to talk about how so far Barbarian feels to play. This is just gonna be like a review of the early game of Barbarian, and I'm gonna do it from the perspective of a druid player, because druid was the first class that I played. So to begin with, I would say Barbarians are a little bit tougher to play in lower levels. I feel like Barbarians have less survivability, not too much, just but to the point that you notice that you are spamming potions more than when you're playing a druid. But at the same time, I feel like Barbarians do more damage. By the way, I'm doing that comparison with this Barbarian that I just leveled to 55 with my druid back when I was playing Pulverize. Now, I made two main mistakes when leveling this Barbarian. One, I did it in World Tier 2. Do not do that. I would say just skip World Tier 2. It's just not worth. You get shredded way more. The experience is just not worth. I switched to World Tier 1, but even in World Tier 1, I was still getting my HP down by huge chunks at certain moments. But that was the feeling that I was having with this Barbarian at around level 25. I would say from 1 to 15, it's fine, it's smooth, and you go through those levels really quick. From 15 to 30 is when you are sort of starting to feel like you're going slow and you're getting damaged a lot by monsters. But once you get to 30, 35, your survivability problems are solved mostly, and you start to feel that you're getting stronger. And once you get to 40, 45, that's it. You just go through dungeons and you pretty much kill anything easily. Now, druids have a lot of playstyles. You can play range, you can play caster, you can play bear, you can play wolf. Barbarians, not really. I mean, you're just melee. If you don't like melee classes, you're not gonna like Barbarian. It's that simple. I would say the difference in playstyles with Barbarians comes with your support toolkit, like the skills that you're using to buff your main damaging skills. The most efficient builds that you're going to see about Barbarian are always going to tell you to use the 4 shouts: Rallying Cry, Challenge Shout, War Cry, and well, your ultimate, which would be Wrath of the Berserker, because they are too powerful. They're really, really good. I myself found using shouts really boring. Every 12 seconds, you press 1, 2, 3, and your character goes ooh, and then you get buffed, and then you dash with Lunging Strike, and you press your core skill, whatever your core skill is. Hammer of the Ancients, Upheaval, Whirlwind, and I was just getting bored. By level 40, I just switched off builds. I came up with this build that I'm using, which actually uses no shouts. Instead of going for shouts, I go for Ground Stomp and Iron Skin, and the build that I'm using requires me to have 3 damaging skills. The basic skill, a core skill, and a third skill that it should be Death Blow, but to use Death Blow in a reliable way, you need the aspect that gives you a second charge of Death Blow. I don't have that aspect, so I use Ren, because Ren can also regenerate Fury. And you probably have this question, why are you using 3 attacks? Because I went for a Walking Arsenal build. And to fully use Walking Arsenal, I have to switch of weapons 3 times to use the 3 types of weapons. And I would say this playstyle, it's more fun than the usual 4 shouts plus basic and core skill. On top of that, I get to reset the cooldown of my ultimate with the strategic Ground Stomp, and well, the ultimate that I use and that synergizes very well with Walking Arsenal is Iron Maelstrom, so I get to reduce its cooldown by 1 second every single time I switch of weapon, which is a thing I do constantly in this build. And as a fellow Trample Slide druid enjoyer, I like to reduce my cooldowns. So yeah, I would say this is like another playstyle of Barbarians. It's pretty good. I actually saw that this build that I came up with, it's actually not new. Some other people figured it out before me, So probably you can search build guides about this key passive walking arsenal and how to make it work. I would say though, if they tell you to use Death Blow and you don't have the aspect that gives you a second charge of Death Blow, do not use Death Blow. Just instead of it, just go for Ren, and instead of exposed vulnerability, you just put the 2 points in pressure point until you have the aspect for Death Blow. Then you switch to it. Now let's talk about the class special mechanic, which is weapon expertise. My thoughts about this is that it's sad. The two-handed sword expertise bonus is just too good compared to the other bonuses. It's really, really good, and it's hard to ignore it, to the point that it basically makes the entire class mechanic, like, I wouldn't say, I don't think the word is useless, but it kind of feels like that. It's just sad. Most of the builds are gonna tell you to use two-handed sword expertise bonus because it makes any attack that you do apply bleed onto the target. And why is that so good, you might say? Well, it's because that allows you to use damage to bleeding enemies, which is a modifier that you're going to see on your items. So it basically enables a modifier to be used. It's just free damage. I would say though, I'm gonna try my best to get rid of this because I saw, for example, the one-handed axe expertise. It can increase my attack speed for 2 seconds, and that could be interesting. The other expertise bonus that I saw that kind of like interests me is this one, two-handed axe expertise. Increase critical strike chance against vulnerable enemies. And if you are using the exploit glyph, it's just basically free 10% increase critical strike chance. It's pretty good. So those are my thoughts about barbarians in early game. Although I would say that I have seen in late game barbarians hitting for 20 million constantly. So hopefully I can get to do that too. And you probably have been seeing these 3 uniques here. So far, these are the uniques that I got with this character. 2 Rage of Harrogats, which is a really good chest, and probably if you want to play with shouts, you are going to be looking for this chest. And I got the Fields of Crimson, which is the sword for bleeding builds. It buffs Rupture. It's quite interesting. I would like to try it out, and I'm probably going to, because I feel like if I don't, I will be wasting a potential really good build with this sword. So that's it. So far, would I recommend to make a barbarian? If you don't like melee, don't even think about it. But if you like melee, I would say don't go War Tier 2. Don't try Whirlwind at low levels. It's not really that good. I would say stick to Hammer of the Ancient until you finally solve your Fury generation. I would say it's worth to make a barbarian. I'm at level 55 and I'm enjoying it. It's not tough to the point that you're asking yourself, why am I playing this class? No, it's just a little bit more difficult because you are basically most of the time in front of the enemies, and that puts you in more danger than ranged characters. Now here's a bonus if you actually got to this part of the video. As you can see, I have 2 Rage of Harrogath chest pieces. One of them dropped in Aldur's Cave, but this Rage of Harrogath chest piece dropped from somewhere that I never would have guessed. So this happened yesterday when I was streaming on Twitch. I was just doing Hell Tides, and it happens that I killed an enemy in Fractured Peaks, drops a quest item that starts the quest, and I'm like, alright, fine, just I guess I'll just do the quest while I'm doing the Hell Tide too. And this happened. I got a unique out of that? Cache from a side quest? What? It's actually worse than the one I have. No, wait, the roll is better. So yeah, uniques can drop from caches. I didn't know that. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna wait until level 85 to do side quests, and at that point, Of course, not all of the side quests are gonna give you caches that are gonna drop you items, but the ones that do, they might give me more uniques. Who knows? Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video somewhat interesting or helpful, leave a like, that will help me a lot, and subscribe for more content. See you all in the next video. Later.